Now readers, before I start this Readus Reviews, a little warning. No, it's not a spoiler warning, but it is a warning nonetheless. This is indeed a review for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, and the warning is that after seeing it, I realized that some people are just not going to like the DCEU. And that's fine. And this has come from seeing people's reactions to it on the internet, along with critic reviews from a website that involves a certain fruit that you can't really trust. So with that being said, if you disagree with my review of it, I'm pretty sure there are other reviewers on YouTube that have went to see this with an open mind and kind of relate to how you've appropriately judged this movie. And that's not to say that you shouldn't leave comments on this video if you disagree with my result. I'm not saying that. I've just come to that conclusion as I watched the movie, and I feel that a lot of people just needed to hear that. So without further ado, here's my review of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. So the movie takes place 18 months after the events of Man of Steel. We find out that Bruce Wayne was actually in Metropolis during the World Engine attack, and that more of a satellite of his was destroyed in Metropolis. So he, along with a good amount of people in the world, think that Superman is more of a threat than a savior. Of course, this gets the attention of Lex Luthor, who is concocting a scheme in order to prove that he's better than Superman. And it just so happens to involve Batman. But of course, there's more going on than you realize. Enough to attract the attention of not just Superman and Batman, but Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman as well. So it's up to Batman and Superman along with Wonder Woman to work out their differences and help save the day. And if you couldn't already guess my initial reaction to this movie after I finished watching it, from the opening of this video, I fucking love this movie. Comparing it to Man of Steel, the writing was better, the action was better. As I kind of called early on, Superman was more Superman in this one than he was in Man of Steel. And there are just a lot of creative choices over the course of this movie that just made it work. Like, really work. And despite the fact that the second full trailer kind of revealed everything before the movie came out, it didn't keep me from enjoying it as the plot went on. This is actually a good way for me to segue into the writing of this movie, in which you can see the ideas that David Goyer came up with, but you can actually see how much better they were executed because Chris Terrio fucking got rid of all the David Goyerisms. There was better symbolism, there was better metaphors, there was better dialogue. And the main problem that a lot of people have with Man of Steel, which I feel isn't a spoiler, so I'm going to say it, was addressed in this movie regarding Superman. You can definitely tell that he has grown as a character and learned from the events that happened in Man of Steel. One of the events in particular I talked about in my Defending Man of Steel video earlier this month in DCEU month, which you can watch right here if you click on the link. Batman was so good. My God, he was so great! Ben Affleck was a great Batman, as I expected, and Jeremy Irons captured the sarcastic badass Alfred that we've come to know him from the animated series and the comic books as well. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Good shit. Good shit. This is probably where the divide of people who either like this movie or don't like this movie will happen. Because I can understand if people would have a problem with some of the creative choices that Jesse Eisenberg made with his portrayal of Lex. In my point of view, I feel that his creative choices actually helped his performance and helped the character in this universe. Because with the creative choices that he made, I could see how Lex operates. I could see the egotistical asshole that's jealous of Superman, that wants to prove that he's better than him, the one that I've expected from the animated series, and, in some regard, the comic books as well. Because I'll tell you right now, just because Zack Snyder said that the main inspiration for this movie was The Dark Knight Returns, does not mean it was the only comic book that influenced Dawn of Justice. Like, if you actually paid attention to Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal, you could actually see Lex Luthor's soul. And if you understood the reference that I just made, then you'll know that this is Lex Luthor. You'll know that his portrayal was Lex Luthor. Like, actually Lex Luthor. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. every time she was on screen, I was happy. Even the portions where she was on screen and she didn't do shit, she still did shit. Her poise, her facial expressions, it all stood out. Even when she was interacting with Bruce Wayne. And then the fight at the end between the Trinity and Doomsday, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. And speaking of Doomsday, it was Doomsday. It was Doomsday. It was Doomsday. It was fucking Doomsday. So these are all the things that I liked about the movie, but if I were to nitpick, I would have to say the only thing that bothered me was Amy Adams as Lois Lane. I feel like she could have gave a stronger performance, especially given how much of her there was in Man of Steel. There were definitely moments where I felt that she was phoning it in. On the other hand, there were moments where she was actually good. The part where she does the Lois Laning, and by Lois Laning I mean actually being a journalist, and actually being a reporter, and actually investigating shit, I was intrigued. She was the star of the show in those scenes, and she was great doing it. The lovey-dovey scenes with Superman, they could have been better. But then again, the romance that happened in Man of Steel was kind of rushed to begin with. So I feel like in that instance, I wasn't supposed to be expecting anything from this. Although they did attempt to try and flesh it out a bit. If the romance between Clark Kent / Superman and Lois Lane wasn't so rushed in Man of Steel, I would have believed it more in Dawn of Justice. So yes, Dawn of Justice, it was good. It was really, really good. At least I think it is. And honestly, if I wasn't poor as fuck right now, and currently trying to preserve the $20 that I currently have in order to see it more than once before next payday, I would have paid full price for this movie. I would have paid a $10 to $15 ticket to go see the Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Hell, I might have even seen it in 3D. No, I wouldn't have. I would have just stuck to regular 2D. I'm not even gonna lie. But it's like I said before, readers. There are moments in this movie that probably don't cater to everybody who plan on going to see this. So just like Man of Steel, there is probably going to be a divide between DC fans. The people who like this movie and the people who don't. And I feel that this is just something that I have to get used to regarding the DC Extended Universe. There are going to be people who like these movies and people who don't, but are still DC fans at heart. Hell, even superhero fans in general. So with that being said, readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comments section below whether or not you fall in the division that like this movie. And write in the comment section below if you're part of the division that don't like this movie. And if you felt that it was just okay, then write that. And I know that you're not going to listen to this even when I say it, but please be civil if you're actually going to start conversations in the comments section. Try and respect other people's opinion. Don't try and start flame wars for no reason. That's just stupid. We're better than that. Because whether you like it or not, Justice League is coming. It's coming, y'all! Anyways, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed. Oh, goddamn, I'm a fool.